There was a rich man. He had money. He had cars. He had big houses. But one night, in a cold hospital room, his wife closed her eyes for the last time. His heart broke. He stopped eating. He stopped talking. His two 14-year-old daughters watched their father fade. They were scared, but they did not give up. They went back to their mother's old garden and tried to bring their father back, with one thing only: love. The hospital room was cold and quiet. A small machine made a slow sound. Beep, beep, beep. Marcus stood beside the bed. He held his wife's hand with both hands. His grip was strong, but his hands were shaking. Elena lay very still. Her skin looked pale. Her breathing was weak and slow. Emma and Sophie stood near the bed. They were only 14 years old. They held each other tightly. Their eyes were full of fear. Marcus leaned closer. "Please stay," he whispered. His voice was low and broken. "I need you." Elena opened her eyes slowly. She tried to smile. Her lips moved with effort. "Marcus," she said softly, "be strong for our girls." Sophie shook her head. "No, Mama. Please," she cried. Emma wanted to speak, but no sound came out. Tears rolled down her face. The machine suddenly changed its sound. Doctors rushed into the room. They spoke fast and serious. Marcus was asked to step back. He did not want to let go of Elena's hand. But slowly, he had to. Minutes passed. The room became very quiet. Then, the machine made one long sound. A doctor came forward. His face was heavy. "I am sorry," he said. In that moment, Marcus did not feel rich or strong. He felt like a man who had lost half of his soul. He did not cry. He did not fall. He stood still, like a broken wall. In African homes, men are taught to be strong. They are taught to hold pain inside. Marcus did that. If this story touched your heart, support the creator. Subscribe to African Tales by Kairo for more powerful family stories. But inside him, something shattered forever. That night ended his old life. But this story did not begin in that hospital. Before the pain, there was love. Before the silence, there was laughter. 2 years earlier, Marcus lived in a large house. The house was big, but it felt warm. It was full of voices. It was full of life. People outside called Marcus a billionaire. They feared his power. They respected his name. But inside the house, no one used that word. No. No. At home, he was just Daddy. And every evening, his black car stopped at the gate. Before the door opened, 2 voices shouted together, "Daddy is home." Emma and Sophie ran outside. They jumped into his arms. Marcus laughed loudly. All his stress disappeared. Elena stood at the door. She watched them with a soft smile. She was calm and gentle. She was the heart of the home. "How was your day?" she asked. Marcus smiled at her. "It was heavy," he said, "but seeing you makes it light." They ate dinner together every night. No phones. No work talk. In this home, family came before pride. Before money. Before everything. Elena often said, "Money is useful, but family is everything." Marcus always held her hand when she said that, like a promise. Emma was quiet and watchful. She cared deeply. She wanted to protect her family. Sophie was emotional and warm. She hugged her parents often. She believed love fixed everything. On weekends, Marcus stayed home. They watched old movies. They laughed at small jokes. Elena loved her garden. She planted flowers with care. She talked to them softly. "This garden gives me peace," she once said. "That," Marcus smiled. "If you have peace, I am rich," he replied. Sometimes, happiness feels safest just before it breaks. One evening, rain fell hard. Elena felt very tired. "I am fine," she said softly. But Marcus looked at her face. Fear entered his heart. That fear was the first knock of pain, and the door was about to open. The next morning, Marcus watched Elena closely. She moved slowly. Her steps were weak. She tried to smile. "I am fine," she said again. But Marcus did not believe it. He touched her hand. It felt cold, too cold. "Elena, we should see a doctor," he said. She wanted to refuse, but she saw fear in his eyes. "Okay," she replied softly. They went to the hospital that day. Emma and Sophie stayed quiet in the back seat. They felt something was wrong. The hospital was clean and bright, but it felt cold inside. Doctors asked many questions. They ran tests. They spoke in low voices. Marcus waited outside the room. He walked back and forth. Time moved slowly. In African families, waiting is painful. You wait with hope. You wait with fear. A doctor finally came out. His face was serious. "She is very sick," he said. "She needs to stay here." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "Do whatever you need," he said. "Please." Elena stayed in the hospital for many days. Machines surrounded her bed. The beeping sounds became normal. Emma and Sophie came every day after school. They brought drawings. They brought cards with hearts. They sat by her bed. They held her hands. "We will be strong," Sophie said. Elena smiled weakly. "I know," she replied. Marcus stayed at the hospital every night. He slept on a chair. He did not leave her side. His phone rang many times. Workers called. Business partners waited. Marcus ignored them all. In his world, money solved problems. But here, money felt useless. One evening, Elena asked Marcus to come closer. "If something happens to me," she whispered. Marcus shook his head. "Don't say that," he said. She touched his face gently. "Our girls need you," she said. "Please don't leave them alone." Tears filled Marcus's eyes, but he did not let them fall. Emma and Sophie watched from the corner. They felt scared, but they stayed strong. One night, the machines began to sound different. The beeping slowed. Nurses rushed in. Doctors followed. The girls were asked to wait outside. They sat on a long bench. They held each other tightly. Sophie cried softly. "I am scared," she whispered. "I am scared." Emma said nothing. She stared at the door. Her heart was breaking. Inside the room, Marcus held Elena's hand again. Just like before, her breathing was weak. Her eyes were tired. "I love you," Marcus said. Elena smiled faintly. "I know," she whispered. The machine made a long sound. Everything stopped. Outside, the girls felt silence. Heavy silence. The door opened slowly. The doctor stepped out. "I am sorry," he said. Those words fell like stones. Sophie screamed and cried. Emma covered her mouth. Marcus walked out slowly. He looked at his daughters. He wanted to speak, but no words came. That night, 3 hearts broke. One man lost his wife. 2 girls lost their mother. And the home that was once full of laughter was about to become very quiet. The days after the funeral felt long and empty. The house was the same, but the feeling was gone. Curtains stayed closed. Light did not enter. Marcus sat on the sofa for hours. He wore the same clothes. He did not move. People came to visit. They spoke soft words. "Be strong," they said. "She is in a better place." Marcus heard nothing. Some pain is so heavy that tears refused to fall. Emma and Sophie stayed close to each other. They sat on the floor. They watched their father. He did not cry. He did not shout. He did not speak. In African homes, grief is quiet. It sits in the room. It watches you. Days passed. Then, weeks. Marcus stopped going to work. His phone stayed silent. Food stayed untouched. Plates were left full. Tea went cold. At night, Marcus sat alone in the dark. He closed his eyes. Memories came back. Elena's laugh, her voice, her smile. Each memory hurt like a wound. Emma tried to help. She cleaned the house. She made tea. "Daddy, please eat," she said one morning. Marcus looked at the cup. He did not touch it. Sophie tried in her own way. She hugged him from behind. She held him tightly. "We are here," she whispered. Marcus nodded once. But he stayed silent. The strong father was gone. A broken man sat in his place. At night, the girls lay in their bed. They spoke in whispers. "We lost Mama," Sophie said. Her voice shook. "I don't want to lose Daddy too." Emma stayed quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. "We won't," she said. "We can't." Sophie wiped her tears. "But he is not the same." Emma looked at the ceiling. "Mama said family is everything," she said. "We are still here." They were only children. but love was making them brave. The next morning they tried again. They made breakfast. Simple food. Bread and tea. They carried the tray to Marcus's room. The door was open. Marcus sat on the bed. His eyes looked tired. His face looked older. "Daddy," Sophie said softly. They placed the tray near him. "Please try," Emma said. Marcus stared at the cup for a long time. Slowly, he picked it up. His hand shook. He took one small sip. The girls held their breath. He placed the cup down. It was only tea, but for his daughters, it felt like hope. Later that day, they turned on the TV. Old family videos played. Elena appeared on the screen. She waved and laughed. The garden was behind her. Marcus looked, his eyes filled with tears. He turned his face away. He was not angry. He was drowning in memories. That night Marcus sat alone again. But this time, tears fell freely. For the first time since Elena left, he cried. The pain was still there, but deep inside, a small light tried to wake up, and that light came from his daughters. The days kept moving, slow and heavy. Marcus stayed the same. He woke up late. He slept early. He stayed quiet all day. Curtains stayed closed. Sunlight waited outside. Marcus did not shave. He did not change clothes. He did not care. In African homes, a father is the pillar. When the pillar breaks, the whole house feels weak. Emma and Sophie felt that weakness every day. They watched their father from a distance. They did not shout. They did not force him. They remembered their mother. Elena never pushed. She waited with love. One evening, Emma went to the kitchen. It was dinner time. She cooked rice and soup, the same way Mama used to cook. Sophie set the table. She placed 3 plates. Then she stopped. Her hands shook. Slowly, she removed 1 plate. She turned away so Emma would not see her cry. They carried the food to Marcus. He sat in the dark room. "Daddy," Emma said softly. "We made dinner." Marcus looked at the food. He nodded once. He did not eat. The girls sat near him. They waited in silence. Minutes passed. Then Marcus picked up the spoon. He ate 2 small bites. Then he stopped. For the girls, it was a big step. A small win. That night, Sophie could not sleep. She walked to Emma's bed. She climbed in quietly. "I miss Mama," Sophie whispered. Emma nodded. "So do I." Sophie's voice shook. "Daddy is fading." Emma closed her eyes. "We will not let him go," she said. They stayed quiet for a long time. The next day, the girls cleaned the house. They opened the windows. Fresh air came in. They played soft music, the kind Mama loved. Marcus heard the music. For a moment, his heart moved. Then he closed his eyes again. Later, Sophie brought an old photo album. She sat near Marcus. "Can I sit here?" she asked. Marcus nodded. She opened the album slowly. Pictures filled the pages. Mama laughing. Mama cooking. Mama in the garden. "This was Mama's birthday," Sophie said. She was so happy. Marcus looked at the picture. His lips trembled. He closed the album. "I can't," he said quietly. Sophie stayed close. She did not move. For real stories about love, pain, and healing, subscribe now to African Tales by Kairo. Emma watched from the door. Her heart felt heavy. In African families, healing takes time. It comes with patience, with staying close. That night, Marcus sat alone again. But this time, he did not sit in the dark. He opened the curtain a little. Moonlight entered the room. Outside, the garden looked forgotten. Dry leaves covered the ground. Flowers were gone. Marcus stared at it for a long time. In the other room, 2 young girls whispered. "Do you remember Mama's garden?" Sophie asked. Emma nodded slowly. "That place made her happy," Sophie said. Emma took a deep breath. "Then we start there," she said. They did not know if it would work. They did not know what would happen next. But they knew one thing. They could not give up on their father, and the garden would become their hope. Morning came quietly. The sun rose, but the house stayed silent. Marcus sat on the edge of his bed. He stared at the floor. He felt tired in his bones. Emma stood at the door. She watched him without speaking. Her heart felt tight. Sophie came beside her. She whispered, "He looks worse today." "No." Emma nodded. "We still try," she said. They walked into the room together. "Daddy?" Sophie said gently. We made tea. Marcus lifted his head slowly. His eyes looked empty. Emma placed the cup on the table. She did not push it toward him. She stepped back. They waited. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Marcus reached out. He touched the cup. It was warm. He did not drink. But he did not push it away. For the girls, that mattered. Later that morning, Emma opened the windows. Light entered the room. Dust moved in the air. Sophie cleaned the floor. She worked quietly, like Mama used to. Marcus watched them from his chair. He did not speak. He did not stop them, but he watched. In African homes, children learn early. They learn when to speak, and when silence is louder. That afternoon, Sophie turned on the TV. An old video played. Elena appeared on the screen. She stood in the garden. She laughed softly. Marcus's chest tightened. He stood up fast. He turned off the TV. I can't, he said. His voice shook. Emma felt pain rise inside her, but she held it back. We're sorry, Daddy, she said. She took Sophie's hand. They left the room. That night Marcus did not sleep. He sat alone. He held Elena's scarf. Tears fell freely. No one saw him. In the other room, the girls whispered. He is drowning, Sophie said. He is slipping away. Emma stared at the ceiling. We pull him back, she said, no matter how long it takes. Sophie turned toward her. How? Emma closed her eyes. She remembered Mama's smile. Her calm voice. She loved the garden, Emma said. Sophie's eyes widened. The garden, she whispered. It had been quiet for months. Dry leaves covered the ground. Flowers were gone. Mama's place was forgotten. The next morning, the girls went outside. The air felt cool on their skin. They stood in the garden. They looked around. This was Mama's safe place, Sophie said. Emma bent down. She picked up a dry leaf. She said, life grows again, she replied. They did not talk more. They began to work. They picked leaves. They pulled weeds. Their hands became dirty. Marcus stood at the window. He did not know why he was watching, but he could not look away. The girls worked in silence. Their faces were serious. Their hearts were full. Sophie wiped her hands. She would like this, she said. Emma nodded. She would. Marcus felt something move inside him. A small pain, a small warmth. He turned away from the window, but the image stayed with him. For the first time in many days, Marcus felt something new. Not happiness, not peace, memory. And memory was the first step back to life. The sun stayed high that day. The garden looked tired, but the girls did not stop. Emma worked slowly. She pulled weeds with care. She remembered how Mama used to do it. Sophie gathered dry leaves. Her hands were small, but her heart was strong. They did not talk much. They let the work speak. Inside the house, Marcus walked from one room to another. He tried to sit. He tried to rest, but his eyes kept going back to the window. He saw the girls again, bent down, dirty hands, focused faces. Something tight formed in his chest. That evening, the girls washed their hands. They were tired, but they felt proud. At dinner, Marcus sat at the table. He did not speak, but he sat. For the girls, that was new. Sophie noticed first. She smiled softly. Emma saw it too. She said nothing. In African homes, small things matter. A man sitting at the table. A silent meal. It means hope. The next morning, the girls woke early. They went back to the garden. They brought water. They cleaned more space. They found old tools. Emma found a broken pot. She wiped it clean. Mama liked this one, she said. Sophie nodded. She planted white flowers here. They went to the small market nearby. They used their saved money. They bought seeds, simple flowers, the kind Mama loved. Marcus watched them leave. He wanted to ask questions, but no words came. Later, he stood at the window again. He saw them kneeling, planting, watering. The soil looked fresh. His legs moved before his mind did. One step, then another. He opened the door. The girls froze. They looked up. Fear crossed their faces. Daddy? Sophie asked softly. Did we do something wrong? Marcus did not answer right away. He walked closer. He knelt down slowly. His knees touched the soil. He placed his hand in the earth. It felt cool. It felt real. He picked up a small plant. His hands trembled. Elena's voice filled his mind. "This garden gives me peace." His eyes filled with tears. Emma swallowed hard. "Daddy, we just wanted—" Marcus raised his hand gently. He did not look at them yet. He placed the plant into the soil. Carefully, like something precious. Then he looked at his daughters. For the first time in a long time, his eyes were not empty. "Thank you," he said. The words were quiet, but they were heavy. Sophie ran forward. She hugged him tightly. Marcus hugged her back. Then he pulled Emma close. They stayed there together. No one spoke. 3 hearts, beating in the same place. The garden was still small, but something had started to grow. That night, Marcus slept better. Not well, but better. In his dreams, Elena smiled. And for the first time since she left, Marcus did not wake up crying. The pain was still there, but now, it was not alone. Hope had joined it. The next morning felt different. The house was still quiet, but the quiet did not feel heavy. Marcus woke up before the girls. He sat on the bed for a long time. He did not rush. He did not hide. He looked at his hands. They still remembered the soil. That feeling stayed with him. He walked to the window. The garden looked small, but it looked alive. For the first time in many months, Marcus pulled the curtain fully open. Sunlight filled the room. Downstairs, Emma noticed the light. She stopped walking. "Sophie," she whispered. Daddy opened the curtains. Sophie smiled softly. "That's good," she said. They went to the kitchen together. They made breakfast, bread and tea, simple food. They carried the tray to the table. Marcus was already sitting there. The girls froze for a moment. "Come," Marcus said quietly. They sat down slowly. No one spoke. Marcus picked up the cup. His hand was steady. He drank the tea. Emma watched closely. Sophie held her breath. "It's warm," Marcus said. "And good." Those words felt big. After breakfast, Marcus stood up. "I want to go outside," he said. The girls followed him. The air felt fresh. The soil smelled clean. Marcus walked into the garden. He moved slowly. He touched the leaves. "This was her place," he said. She felt calm here. Emma nodded. She smiled a lot here. Marcus bent down. He picked up a small tool. He cleaned the soil. The girls joined him. They worked side by side. In African homes, healing does not come with speeches. It comes with hands, with work, with togetherness. They stayed in the garden for a long time. No one rushed. No one talked much. After a while, Sophie walked back into the house. She returned, holding something, a small wooden sign. She placed it gently near the flowers. It said, "Elena's Garden." 1. Marcus stopped moving. He stared at the sign. His chest felt tight. Tears filled his eyes, but he did not turn away. "She would love this," he said. Emma stepped closer. "We did it for her," she said. "And for you." Marcus nodded slowly. "I was lost," he said. "I forgot how to live." Emma looked at him. "You were hurting," she said. Marcus looked at both girls. "But you stayed," he said. "You did not leave me." Sophie hugged him tight. "We need you, Daddy," she said. Marcus hugged her back. Then he hugged Emma too. That afternoon, Marcus picked up his phone. He held it for a long time. Then he made a call. "I will come back slowly," he said. "One step at a time." The girls heard him. Hope filled their faces. Later, they sat together in the living room. They watched an old movie, one Elena loved. Marcus did not turn away this time. He watched till the end. At night, Marcus stood in the garden alone. Moonlight touched the flowers. "I'm still here," he whispered. Inside the house, Emma and Sophie watched quietly. Their father was not fully healed. The pain was still there, but he was walking forward now. And sometimes, that is how life begins again. The days that followed felt slow, but they felt real. Not empty like before. Not heavy like before. Marcus began to wake up early each morning. Some days he felt strong. Some days he felt weak. But he did not hide anymore. Every morning, he walked into the garden. Sometimes Emma went with him. Sometimes Sophie followed. They watered the plants together. They cleaned dry leaves. They touched the soil with care. Marcus did not talk much, but he stayed. In African homes, staying means love. Slowly, Marcus started to eat more. He shaved his beard. He wore clean clothes again. One morning, Marcus stood at the door with his car keys. Emma noticed right away. "Daddy?" she asked quietly. "I am going to the office," Marcus said. "Only for a short time." Sophie ran to him and hugged him. "Please come back," she said. Marcus held her close. "I will," he promised. At the office, people were surprised to see him. They stood up. They watched him walk in. Marcus did not shout. He did not give orders. He sat at his desk. He looked at old papers, old plans, old work. For the first time, work did not feel more important than life. That evening, Marcus came home early. The girls were waiting. "You came back," Sophie said with a smile. "No." "Yes," Marcus replied. "I always will." That night, they ate dinner together. They talked about small things: school, the garden, the movie they watched. Marcus listened. After dinner, Marcus sat with his daughters. The house was quiet. "I need to tell you something," he said. The girls looked at him. "When your mother died," Marcus said slowly, "I thought my life ended." His voice shook. "I forgot that I was still a father." Emma reached for his hand. Sophie moved closer. "But you saved me," Marcus said. "You stayed when I wanted to disappear." Tears filled Emma's eyes. Sophie hugged him tight. "We learned from Mama," Emma said. Marcus nodded. "She taught us how to love." That night, Marcus sat alone in the garden. He placed a chair near the flowers. The wind moved the leaves. The sign stood strong. "Elena's garden." Marcus closed his eyes. "I lost you," he whispered. "But you left me something greater." Inside the house, Emma and Sophie watched from the door. They felt peace. Months passed. Marcus started something new. Not another company. Not another business. A charity. He named it after Elena. The charity helped families who lost someone. It helped children who felt alone. It helped broken hearts breathe again. Marcus told his daughters, "This is how your mother still lives." Years passed. The garden grew full of color. Flowers bloomed every season. Marcus still felt pain sometimes, but he never felt empty again. He learned something important. Losing someone does not end love. Love changes its shape. Narrator's final words. This story teaches us a simple truth. Money can build houses, but love builds people. Family does not remove pain. Family teaches us how to survive it. Maybe you are watching this with a heavy heart. Maybe someone you love is hurting in silence. Stay with them. If this story touched you, please support this channel. Like this video, share it with someone you love, and subscribe for more powerful family stories. Because here, we believe the greatest wealth is not money, it is family.